Welcome to the Spiritual Growth Podcast. I'm your host, Cherise Marie. This podcast is your sanctuary for peace, insight, and spiritual nourishment. Each episode is thoughtfully crafted to inspire and enlighten, blending timeless wisdom with modern relevance, all aimed at nurturing your spirit and igniting your curiosity. Whether you're beginning your spiritual journey or seeking deeper understanding, consider this space your companion on the path to enlightenment.
So this is the art of giving and receiving support, especially during the holidays, right? Holiday time evokes a lot of emotion and evokes a lot of joy and celebration. But for other people, it can be a very difficult time as well. So this talk really is emblematic of the time we are in, of being able to give and gain support as necessary during the holidays. However, it goes well beyond that. These are some, I'm going to be speaking about some theories and weaving them together in a very unto my wisdom kind of way, so that it supports you beyond the holiday season and into 2025 and beyond that, because it's going to be a galactical year. So hang on. We really are looking at the art of giving and receiving support, because you can't give something that you don't already have. And the ability to receive support is something that's very hard for a lot of people. So we're going to talk about receiving and how then that translates into your ability to be a better giver. And when I talk about support, I'm defining this as compassion and empathy and sympathy and sacred presence, right? Not presence, but just sacred ability to be with somebody who needs your love and your light. So as I speak through these concepts, I want you to think about times in your life when you've been able to receive support, when you've given support like that in an unconditional manner. We're going to talk about unconditional support, non-judgmental support as I go through this presentation. So hang tight.
Today, I've got something truly extraordinary to share. Something that could help you unlock your mind's full potential and transform your life in ways you never thought possible. Let me introduce you to brainworkaudio.com, the ultimate tool to help you listen, transform, and thrive. Whether you're aiming to enhance your focus, improve your sleep, or cultivate a sense of calm, Brainwork Audio is your partner on that journey. Their mission is simple but powerful: to empower individuals like you to achieve personal growth and well-being through the transformative power of sound. Here's what makes them stand out. Every audio track at Brainwork Audio is crafted by experts in sound engineering. They blend binaural beats, scientifically designed sound frequencies that sync with your brainwaves, with powerful affirmations that reinforce positivity and success, helping you reshape your mindset from within. Drifting off to sleep with their While You Sleep music, designed to lull you into a deep, restorative rest. Or powering through your day with their Focus music that sharpens your concentration and keeps distractions at bay. And when it's time to recharge, their meditation music creates the perfect environment for mindfulness and inner peace. But Brainwork Audio doesn't stop there. They also offer specially designed affirmation tracks, audio experiences that work in the background while you relax or work, subtly reinforcing positivity and confidence. It's personal development, effortlessly woven into your daily life. I've got a special deal just for you. Use promo code SUPERFAN at checkout to save 20% on your first purchase. That's right, 20% off your first step toward a more confident, focused, and peaceful life. So why wait? Head over to brainworkaudio.com today and discover the transformative power of sound. From sleep to focus to mindfulness, they've got the perfect track for every part of your day. Your journey to turn into a better you starts here. Visit brainworkaudio.com and use the code SUPERFAN, because you deserve to thrive. Brainwork Audio, listen, transform, thrive.
We're going to start with a concept called the 8-minute call. And I learned about this pretty recently, but it was something that I've known, right? In your heart, you've known it, but then I heard it and I was like, oh, wow, this is true. So true. So if you know Simon Sinek, he is so enthusiastic, and he's a business leader and author. If you don't know him, it's worthy of listening to some of his YouTube videos. But he tells this story about connection to one of his best friends. And I'm going to summarize it. But what happened was he had a friend who really, really, really needed his support, right? And was going through a hard time. And when Simon found out after the fact, he got kind of angry and he got hurt. He's like, why didn't you ask me for support? I'm here. I love you. I'm open to helping you and being there for you. And he tells the story. He said, well, pick up your phone and look at your texts. Look at your texts. And he goes, what? Want to come over tonight? Want to hang out? Do you have a second for a quick call? He goes, what's different than any other time, right? Because it's really hard for us to learn to ask for support, right? And so it goes on. How have you asked for support? Have you picked up the phone and said, I need help? Have you texted and said, I really could use a friend today in this moment? I have. And I want to introduce myself. I am Laura Clark, the founder of the Wise Living Institute. And what I do is I help people awaken their divine purpose, align their energies around that purpose, activate your vision in conjunction with your divine purpose, because all of that accelerates true joy, peace, and greater self-fulfillment. And I have been guilty of this. I've been guilty of not asking for support, emotional support when I've needed it. And I've been guilty of looking at texts and saying, oh, want to come over tonight? Not tonight. I don't have the time, right? And so what happens is we get conditioned to hearing and reading that talk that is just banter back and forth between friends, right? We don't condition ourselves to feel the energy underneath that. And that's why we need cues. And so the 8-minute call is something that is fascinating. The 8-minute call is something that has some psychological meat behind it. And what we really talk about is connection, that in 8 minutes of just listening to somebody, you create a deeper connection and you can uplift them and they can carry on. It only takes 8 minutes. 8 is the number of everlasting love and light. So it makes sense that 8 is the time that it takes to support somebody. And who doesn't have 8 minutes? Who can't get up and leave a meeting for just a quick 8 minutes? Excuse me, I have to leave. I will be right back. And support somebody. Or take that time on the drive home to support somebody, right? If it only takes 8 minutes to uplift a friend and bring them out of the dark masses of drudgery, who are we to these friends? And we have to think about that friendship, right? I'm talking about right now the connection that you want to continue. Yes, there are connections we want to break from. I'm speaking to the connections we want to continue in our life and strengthen. And doing so with an 8-minute call is absolutely a beautiful expression of the time that we can give someone who we love, who we honor, who we want to thrive. When we spend this time with somebody, we become the ripple, right? We help them and they help others who help others who help others. So uplifting one person, it can be as significant as uplifting 1,000 people. right? It's just a matter of taking that time. So a couple of things about this. What you want to recognize the challenge that somebody's having. How can I support you? What's going on? What's going on? Right? And when we do that, it opens space between people. It brings people closer. And this 8-minute invites us to be thinking about connection, to be in support and love and light. And that is one of the things that is so bright for all of us, is being able to have this connection, especially in 2024, moving into 2025. Over the last 4 or 5 years, connection has been something that we are missing, right? When the world shut down because of COVID, that deep connection disappeared for so many of us. And it's taking us time to come back into what is connection and stepping into that with all of our wonderful human-esque qualities. Right? So step in. Think of somebody right now who may have sent you a text saying, hey, want to go out and have a coffee? It's the holidays. Want to have a coffee? Right? Maybe it's just a cup of coffee, but maybe it's something deeper. And really step into that. Or who can you call who you might feel needs support and say, I'd love to take you out for a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Let's do this, right? Or are you the one who needs support? I've had a challenging month. I lost my dad a couple of weeks ago, and he is my best friend in the entire world. And we often play the song You and Me Against the World, meaning that we were deeply connected. And I am so blessed to have an array of support around me, and the number of texts saying, do you need 8 minutes? Because my peeps know this 8-minute thing. And they'll say 8 minutes, question mark. And what it means is, I'm here to support you. 8 minutes. Do you need some uplifting? I'm good today, thanks. Or I might text them back, I'm good, thank you for thinking of me. And 3 hours later go and have that water fountain of tears and say, I could use those 8 minutes, right? And it's a way of being supported during a difficult phase of my life. And I love that. So as a spiritual alchemist, I still am a walking, talking, emotional human being. And I still need this just as much as you may. And so I hope that helps as you're thinking through this time, because it's really a manageable amount of time. 8 minutes. I've talked for 12 minutes now, right? And it seems like 2. So it will help strengthen your relationships. It's not a luxury. Connectedness is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is one of our greatest needs for a greater sense of fulfillment. So step out and be more connected. The second thing I want to speak to is the concentric theory of support. All right. It's also known as the ring theory. So if you take this drum, right, and you think about it as a big circle and you put a dot in the middle of it, let's think of that person as the person that needs support. And every ring around that person supports in. So you might have that dot, and it might be the spouse around that dot. So say somebody, I don't like to go down the rabbit's hole, so I'm going to choose something that's kind of silly. Say somebody wants to go for a swim in 30-degree Fahrenheit weather, and the water temperature is 40, right? They really want to go in and they want support around this. They may have a spouse who was going to support them. And then the spouse who may be thinking, I don't think this is a great idea. The secondary ring around that person is the friends group. And then the secondary ring around that, the tertiary ring, would be the colleagues group, as I call it, the water fountain group, right? And so on and so forth. So it's the concentric ring theory. Think about putting a dot in and having that ripple effect come out, but actually the ripple effect is going inward, okay? And it's a really interesting, easy theory to think about, because there are only two rules. Two. You comfort in and you dump out. So the spouse might tell this one person, honey, I really think that you have a lot of strength. If this is something you want to do, I'm here for you. Right? And you're comforting in, or you're saying, I know you wanted to do that. So maybe they chose not to. I know you really wanted to do that. And I honor your desires. I hope you're feeling that you've made the best choice for yourself right now. That's comforting in. And then the spouse gets to dump out. So the spouse might go to the friends and say, my wife, my partner, they be crazy. Crazy. They want to do this thing, and I don't know how to help them. Right? You dump out. You comfort in and you dump out. So when you are supporting somebody unconditionally, lovingly, and without judgment, you only give comfort in. And you get support by dumping any challenge that brings you out of that sacred space of support. And supporting people is a sacred space. It is an absolute sacred space. So the people in the inner circles can express anything. They can express anything because it's what they're feeling. It's what they're going through. Okay? And they get that comfort from somebody coming in. So we do this with some tips about the comfort in. One is you don't give advice. You don't give unsolicited advice. If somebody doesn't want your advice, doesn't feel like they need your advice, you don't give advice in. You just hold sacred space. You love on them. You say, I'm not sure I understand, but I'm here for you. I respect you. I honor you. Feels like a lot that you're going through. That feels really heavy. And just listen. Because if we take it back and we leave it to the 8 minutes theory, you only need 8 minutes to come up from that. Right? So that support in is vital. It's vital to having somebody feel safe, supported, strong, successful, and to feel their own spirit be alive. Right? You also do this with empathetic listening. And empathetic listening is really just repeating back to them what they might say. I hear what you're saying is. I understand what you're saying is. Because when you have that empathetic listening, they feel heard. And that is the most important thing, I think, with support, is that the person who's receiving the support feels heard and validated. Okay? Because that will lift them up. Okay? And truly, don't give any solutions. And don't say it's going to be okay. It's probably going to be okay. But don't give any solutions. Just be there with them. One of the best places that I've felt supported was when a friend came and she sat down next to me and she said, listen, there's a box of Kleenex in front of you. I'm not going to pick it up and put it in your lap. If you need a Kleenex, you can grab it. And here was her reasoning. She didn't want me to stuff down my feelings. She wanted me to let my feelings out. right? When you hand somebody a tissue, it's an act of kindness, right? Somebody might feel like it's an act of kindness, but it's also more because of your discomfort, and you're not comforting them in. So having a box of Kleenex and saying there's a Kleenex if you need it, it's right there for you, is a sign of comfort. It's a sign of saying it's okay to feel your feels with me and to let it out. Instead of stuffing, here, have some Kleenex, have some Kleenex. It's a kindful gesture, but it's not as supportive. And we're talking about the art of support, because it does have people stuff down their feelings instead of fully expressing them. And when you are giving support, you want somebody to fully express their thoughts and feelings without you're judging them, and without you're trying to stuff down those feelings, and certainly not with your trying to give them all of the answers. Right? So that's about comfort in. Let's talk about dumping out. Dumping out is really important, right? Because when you're a caregiver, I've gone through 6 months of caregiving my dad, and still working and supporting my clients and all the things of life, right? And I've needed to dump out. But what I find with people who dump out is sometimes they just dump over and over and over and over again, right? It's that dumping, blah. And we don't want that for people, right? People don't necessarily want that. If you're dumping out to a supportive community, they should get it. But sometimes you're dumping out at the water filter of friendships, right? And they've got all their things in their life. So a couple of things that I do when I support people who need to dump out is, one, put a time limit on it. And try to do it without as much judgment as your ego wants you to have. Let me repeat that. Do it without as much judgment as your ego wants you to have. Our ego, our humanness, wants to bite onto the judgment of who that person is and what their problems are and what they're going through, right? That's our ego at play. But really, if you dump with connecting to your heart center, it's so much easier, because you're dumping out the challenge of supporting somebody. You're not dumping out the judgment, the ego-ness of supporting somebody. So let me give you an example of that. Let's say you are supporting somebody who has a health issue that is ongoing, right? It doesn't stop, it doesn't start, it doesn't stop. It's just a chronic condition. And you're helping them and you're helping them and you're helping them and you're holding space for them. And then you leave their home and you get out and you call somebody and like, oh my God, they're complaining about that again. Right? That's a judgment. They're complaining about that thing that you think they shouldn't be complaining about. That's an ego response. Instead of, oh my goodness, they're hurting again and I can't help that hurt. I want to, but I can't help that hurt. So I feel like I'm lacking in ability, right? That's a feeling that you're having. There's no judgment about it, right? It's not right or not wrong. It's a feeling that you can't help support them. When in actuality, you're being there for them as support. So dumping that out, giving yourself that time limit, right? Just 5 minutes. I have a timer that's set on 5 minutes, and it's down by my kitchen, and I will grab it and I will go outside and I will sometimes yell at the universe over something that's happening, right? And then the timer goes off and I put my feet down on God's green earth and I say, thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing me. I now have the ability to go and respond with greater courage. And then go back in. So I give myself that timer. Give yourself this opportunity to comfort in and dump out. And it's a reverse role too, right? It's a reverse role where you might be the person in the center asking for support in one scenario, but in another scenario, you're the concentric ripple of giving support. And that's the yin and the yang of giving and receiving support. So when you know this theory, you know which groups to go to. I have a beautiful spiritual awakening group that I'm aligned with. And when I need support, I know that they're there for me with this concentric ring theory. In my memberships, when somebody comes and has a challenge, right? They're the center person. And I know that my membership people, they're loving and kind and everything, will give support in. And I know that I hold that space for them to give that support in. So there are different roles at different times for us. And this allows us to give and receive support in accordance with what's going on with our lives. And face it, life happens. Life happens to all of us, right? We would love to go through life with living in nirvana, but the car might not start one morning and there might be technology issues another lunchtime, and the kids might get off the bus and have forgotten their homework at school, right? And the dogs might take off on you, right? All of these things of life happen, and no one is immune to them, regardless of race, creed, color, political leanings, economic status. Everybody has life coming to them. And we have to be compassionate about that. So that's the first two things, is the giving, the 8 minutes of support, as well as this concentric theory of giving and receiving support. But I do want to talk into your own spiritual support, right? Yeah, I did say I have a spiritual awakening community that I'm involved with, and that my memberships have that to them too. But there's one other place that we can go to for support. And that's a place that you have to have a deep faith in, you have to have great trust in, and you have to be able to go, release the emotions so that you're not reacting to things, and stepping into feeling and responding to your energy within, which comes from the energy of the galaxies, right? So it's about trusting your own intuition. When we trust our own intuition, when we feel that gut instinct, right? Or we see something that says, go this way, or we just have that knowing, or we feel a tap that says, yes, you're on the right path. Our intuition is the most valuable compass you will ever come in contact with. And having faith and trust in that is where you grow spiritually in great form and great abundance and with greater speed, so that you have the courage to move forward. So this is a way of really tapping into your own inner workings as a spiritual being having a human experience. And there are lots of spiritual awakening tools that you can connect with. And there have been some conversations about that on the forum so far. But really, it's just taking time to listen. And the best and greatest way of listening that I found that I work with dozens and dozens of clients on is oracle journaling. And it's a combination of using oracle cards and journaling that brings you great clarity quickly, easily, sometimes almost effortlessly, in a beautiful manner that gives you greater sense of clarity, greater sense of courage, and greater ability to take action steps. Because it's one thing to connect to our intuition and say, oh, I know that's I know that's the best step for me to take. And then sit and sit and sit some more. That is not trusting your intuition which is your best friend, right? It's that compass. If your intuition is that clear and you trust it that much, you get excited and you get inquisitive on how to take the next step. You are ready to embark on the journey forward, whether it be something as simple as, do I want to have pancakes or eggs for breakfast? And you listen to your intuition. Or as difficult or as committed, if you will, choice of, do I marry this person or do I not? Right? You want to be able to have that faith and trust in yourself, because that is one of the greatest gifts that you can ever bestow upon yourself. And the best thing about that is it's a muscle. It's a muscle to build your intuition. It doesn't come overnight for some. And for people who have gone through a lot of life and haven't released a lot of things to grow in their next ideation of who they are here on Earth, there's a lot of baggage we carry that we don't need to carry. So oracle journaling allows us to really step into a place of deeper faith and trust. So you have to have two things for oracle journaling. So you have to have an oracle deck, right? That is a deck that is specifically designed for you to tap into your intuition. Right? It's not necessarily a quote deck that is an inspirational deck. It's not necessarily an action-oriented deck. There are lots of beautiful action-oriented decks where you pick up a card and it says, oh, yes, do that now, or no, don't do that now, or inspires you to ask for support, right? There's oracle decks. So my own personal deck is the Oracle of the Lake. I made version 1.0 a few years ago. This is version 2.0. And it's images of the place that I developed. I developed my own intuition, which is at this beautiful lake that I go spend summers at. Okay. These are my own images, my own pictures. And I sat with spirit, looking through pictures, picking out the best ones and getting guided to what they were to support somebody. So the best thing to do is to pick an oracle card. So I'll just pick an oracle card quickly here. There are many ways to pick oracle cards. That's out of the scope of right now. And this card says open to possibilities. Open to possibilities. So the window there is open. One is closed, one is open. So what does that mean to you? And it's something that you have to ask yourself. What does that mean to me? There's light coming in there. Oh, there's a straight black strip in the middle. Is there yang to the open to possibilities? What do I need to be closed to, but still be aware of in this closed part of the window where I can still see out? And what might I let myself be open to? What are the possibilities in this question? And then what you can do is you can journal on it, right? Journaling allows you to tap into what you're feeling, bring it through your mind and into your hand to write it out so that you understand it at the next level. And I have a This is from the summer 2024 Oracle Journal. I have a winter 2025 Oracle Journal that's available now. And so it gives you space. What are you feeling? What are you thinking about this? And what can you affirm for yourself on that Oracle card? And you can do that for the week and then each day. What's that one Oracle card telling me to align with? If it's setting your course, right? Setting your course. How can I align with the energy of setting my course? Oh, maybe I'm not focused. Maybe my course, I'm trying to go over here when indeed I really just need to go to this taller tree right here that's aligned with the bow of this canoe. Okay? Setting your course. How can I align with setting my course? What do I need to know today about setting my course? And you write down the first thing that you feel and sense. And that then becomes part of trusting yourself because it's coming up from the depths of who you are. It's instinctual when you write down your first feelings and thoughts. And that practice over time is a beautiful way of enhancing your intuition to support yourself. Right? We're talking about supporting, the art of giving and receiving support from others and from self and source. Right? So this journal also has readings for new moons and full moons in it. They come quarterly, so they're not heavy to carry around with you. And they have those deep dives into your month ahead. A new moon reading, because new moons are all about stepping forward intentionally and manifesting. And then full moons, which are about releasing, so that as the moon cycle goes forward, you can step in and grow. And there's lots of different opportunities there. So those are the 3 ways for the art of giving and receiving support. 1 is the 8-minute call, right? Create a code with your friends. Hey, have you ever reached out to me and wanted support, and I've been I kind of sloughed it off? I didn't mean to. I just didn't know you asked. So create a code with people and just say 8 minutes. And that way they know that you are there for them, that you'll pick up the phone and you'll call them. The second is the concentric ring theory of support, where you comfort in without judgment and just holding sacred space. Not trying to solve the world's problems for somebody, but you hold sacred space for them. And you dump out any of the challenge that you have about supporting somebody. You just dump that out so that you can continue to support them. And then it's supporting yourself through connecting to your soul and spirit and developing your intuition. And one of the best tools that I know of is Oracle journaling. So you can get the 2025 Oracle Journal right now. And it's on a pre-sale. It's a pretty wonderful opportunity. There are a bunch of bonuses, so you can look at it from the purposefulvision.org/winter_2025_pre-sale. It's going across the banner right now. So I hope that this helps you during the holiday season with the kind of support you want to offer your friends, as well as the kind of support that you need to receive so that you can be your better, best self going through the holidays. But carry it into 2025. Oracle journal for yourself throughout the time to come so that you can grow in who you are, in your purpose, aligning your energies with that so that you can activate the vision and manifest all that you want for 2025. 2025 is going to be an incredible year. Follow me for more information about that. I just know that it's going to be incredible. So I hope that this has supported you, and I want you to know that all of the conversations and all of the talks in the Spiritual Growth Forum all have golden gems of wisdom in them. And so listen to as many as you can during this holiday season so that you can continue to grow in light and love. All right. And if you need any support and any sacred holding, just reach out to me. You can find me in the forum on Facebook. All right. Have a great evening. This is the evening. Have a great evening and a wonderful day tomorrow. And as I tell people always, keep smiling. Mwah.
I'm your host, Charisse Marie, and I want to thank you for joining us today on the Spiritual Growth Podcast. It's always a privilege to share this sacred space with you. We hope you carry these reflections with you throughout the week, letting them guide your actions and enrich your spirit. And as always, we're here to support you every step of the way. We love hearing from you, so feel free to leave comments or reach out with your thoughts. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and remember, you are never alone on this path. Together, let's continue walking towards greater awareness and deeper connection. Take care and be well.